This is a download from BFM 89.9, the business station.
BFM 89.9, the business station. It's Caroline and Ezra here with you on the evening edition. Now, how would you like to be in a crowd watching traditional musicians from Japan, fused with contemporary dancers from Uganda and Bali, while a violinist from Sarawak is playing in the background? Ezra, would you like to be in that crowd?
That's a bit of a mix, I must say. That's a nice mix.
It sounds a little bit magical to me, and apparently that's what you're going to get at the 5th Marketplace of Creative Art. So we have with us Asad Jafri, the manager of the Marketplace of Creative Art, as well as Shinji Moriwaki, a spoken word artist, to tell us all about it. Gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much for coming in this evening.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So let's just start with the whole idea of the Marketplace of Creative Arts. I understand it's organized by the World Islamic Economic Forum. Tell us what inspired that.
Sure. Well, the World Islamic Economic Forum, this will be the 8th one coming up in Johor Bahru. So it's been around for a few years now. And part of the initiatives that it started was a Young Leaders Network. It was important to empower young people. And through that network, we thought it was also important then to embrace the creative industry and arts and culture, as those are a universal language and they're a tool that are bringing young people together. And thus, the Marketplace of Creative Arts was born in 2010, right in Kuala Lumpur.
And so it's been going on for a couple of years now, I take it?
Yes, this is the 5th one, and it's been going on for 3 years.
And so what, I guess, was that always a natural fit for sort of the Marketplace of Creative Ideas in tandem with the forum itself? Are you addressing similar aspects of some of the issues that can be discussed?
Well, they're kind of different aspects, but they're part of a big global kind of community of people, right, that are coming together, and we're trying to bring the business world to the arts and creative industry. So it happened organically, and it's been flowing, and now we're kind of thinking, okay, how do these worlds connect? We know that the arts are kind of a vehicle for young people, and a vehicle for a lot of people, almost like an alternate economy. So we're thinking, how can we empower artists, and not just entertainers, people who are just there to make money off of something as an art form, but folks who are really putting in quality work into their art and their creative output, and monetizing that, because it's rather easy to do it with pop music or other
pop
just
culture.
Entertainment, pop culture in general. But when it's artists that are really about their trade and really are about an excellence in their artistic merit, it's different. So we want to bring the kind of business aspect to that world as well.
It's funny that you're using the term marketplace rather than, I guess, you often associate these sort of festivals type events. And is that something that is synonymous to each other in terms of what it presents itself to be?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, the Marketplace was a clever name for it, but it is presented as a festival. But we use the word marketplace on purpose because we want to create this marketplace that's virtual, online, and in person when you come to the festival.
All right. Would you say it is at all aimed at portraying a different side of Islam at all?
I would say very much so. I mean, not just Islam, though. I think just the fact that Muslims all over the world can also embrace and have contributed to art and culture throughout hundreds of years now, and you can see them all over the world doing so. There's a rich tradition, but there's also contemporary tradition. If you look at hip-hop music, for example, coming from the US, the UK, France, etc. So we're embracing that part of the Muslim story or identity as well, and bringing that to the forefront.
Shinji, how did you get involved in this particular Marketplace of Creative Arts?
I had no idea what it was about. I just got approached after doing a gig by this organization, basically asking me whether I'd like to perform in Bandung. I went there with no real ideas about how things would play out.
They didn't brief you about what was going on?
Not to that degree. But yeah, I'll touch on something I think Caroline mentioned about Islam in particular. I got to the event and I was expecting maybe a completely Muslim lineup. Right. I'm not Muslim, and that was one surprise. Another surprise was I just, from the first day, they really tried to promote, let's say, coexistence or cooperation between artists, getting people to be aware of other people in other fields. I did not know a lot about dance, visual arts, and stuff like that, or what I thought I knew was probably very little, and you gain more of an appreciation for that. If you're into film, they've got that going on as well. They've got filmmakers from, when I was there was filmmakers from Vietnam, I think Thailand, Singapore. And that was really interesting to me. We got to know more about what kinds of obstacles they were facing in trying to get their productions out and stuff like that.
Well, what was the most significant message you took away from that cultural exchange?
The most significant message, I think that it really defies a lot of your expectations of what you think you know in terms of organizations with certain names or artists from certain genres or spheres of art.
You put them into sort of little boxes as to how you can grasp at it at a sort of a very
absolutely, and that's
basic
a problem.
level.
Yeah, that's a problem. And the business side of stuff, I was fortunate enough to sit in on a couple workshops or Q&A sessions. I just feel like it's a really positive thing to be exposed to as someone or anyone who's in an art form who's trying to do their thing and make a living from it or take it seriously or
Shinji, very quickly, for those who are not familiar, what is a spoken word artist?
Here's the thing. That's what I'm termed as for this particular event.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do on the side, but mainly I'm a hip hop MC. Like I was on, well, if people want to know, I was on That Music Show with Ali Johan for something completely different.
Right.
But I as a writer, I figure even if you're a rapper, if your music or what you write can stand alone without the aid of music, that's the greatest test.
Okay.
Yeah. So I wouldn't really consider myself a spoken word musician, but
we'll take it at the flyer's value.
I'll take the challenge.
And we appreciate the definition. All right. We're covering the Marketplace of Creative Arts on the evening edition today. Stay with us on BFM 89.9. BFM 89.9, the business station. It's Caroline and Ezra here with you on the evening edition. Our topic for the evening, Marketplace of Creative Arts. Our guests are Asad Jafri, manager of the Marketplace, and Shinji Moriwaki, a spoken word artist. So he gave us a definition for that a little earlier. Hip-hop MC, is that right?
I suppose that's
pretty much. Okay, so it's going to be at the Marketplace, rather. It's going to be in Johor Bahru at the Putri Pacific Hotel this year. What exactly is the reason you decided to have it in Johor?
Well, actually, the Marketplace is produced by the World Islamic Economic Forum, but it takes place with it as well once a year. So the World Islamic Economic Forum is taking place in JB,
right,
and so we're partnered with it there.
And so give us a sense as to what has been the reception of previous incarnations of the Marketplace.
Well, to be honest, I was a speaker and an artist at the one that happened in Kazakhstan in June 2011, and it really moved me a lot. I was a producer of cultural festivals, an artist myself in the U.S., and it's what brought me out to Malaysia, actually, because I really wanted to become more involved. And what I saw was artists from all over the world were really coming together beyond discipline, genre, background, and were put in one place, produced well. The fusion aspect of it was great for me, and I thought I could really help make it grow. So it was something that I was attracted to, because all over the world you kind of see people trying to use arts to create some kind of change amongst the community.
A movement of sorts.
A movement of sorts. And I thought the festival did it well.
And of course, it sounds quite overwhelming as to the range of things that are happening. Can you give us a little bit of a breakdown as to what one can expect in Johor Bahru?
Sure. We have over 30 artists coming from 17 different countries. So you'll have film, you'll have visual arts, dance, music, hip-hop, spoken word, some poetry. And you'll have people from Sudan, Morocco, Pakistan, Uganda, the U.S., UK. Of course, a lot of folks from Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia as well.
Well, Johor Bahru is just going to be so happening on December 5th and 6th.
Rocking. How did you select the lineup?
It was difficult. We have a database, and I personally do as well, of many artists. And we wanted to keep it diverse in where they're coming from, what genres and disciplines they represent, but also artists that we could see working together, even though you might not expect them to. So I loved your intro. You might have a violin player and a hip-hop MC / spoken word artist working together, or an Indian Kathak dancer with a Japanese traditional group, for example.
How hard is it to bring it all together? Sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It's pretty difficult. If you heard us in the back room, we were just talking about when we would do the big fusion showdown. So it's difficult trying to figure out the timing, making everything correct, and partnering the right people together. But it's a challenge that we like to take on, and hopefully it results in a great festival.
On more than one occasion, I remember running from one stage to the next, so that touches on what you were saying.
Shinji, how does that, this whole fusion approach affect you as an artist and as a creative person, making music and in your particular discipline?
I think one thing about it is actually, what I remember was the pressure and the last-minute preparation for certain things that they just tell you, you know what, we're going to put you with a violinist today. And it's up to you. Yeah, it challenges you. It's actually healthy. It's like really healthy, but a bit scary. But it challenges you to go sit down with that person and come up with something.
How much time are we talking here?
This one thing we did, there was no preparation.
Yes.
Another thing we did, maybe have a couple hours.
So you're sort of improvising as you go along.
It really pushes you. Like in the few times that I've worked with people outside my genre, like John Thomas on the drums and Fly on the bass, it brings something else out of you, and it forces you to get better at what you do.
Does the time restraint limit your creative scope in any way?
I guess as it would with anything, but because you're in that position where you're forced to come up with something, good things can happen. Besides.
I really want to know whether bad things happen. I'm so
We're just waiting for those stories.
Yeah, we are.
Well, I should say, since the last one, Shinji had partnered with Nisa, who's the violinist, and they're partnering again for this festival. So we're trying to now do some collaborations that happened beforehand, and then we keep some surprises as well for both the artists and the audience. So we have a little bit the best of both worlds.
I'm looking at the poster that you have right here. I assume the theme is reviving traditions?
Yes.
And what was the idea behind that?
It really came from Johor. If you look at the flyer, we have the Kuda Kepang theme going on. And we were really thinking that a lot of the artists that we have are either continuing a tradition that's hundreds of years old maybe, and other artists are kind of doing something new, but building on the foundations that were laid down by others. So you have artists like Joe Flizzo and Ultimate, or you have, like we said, artists from Sudan, Morocco, and Pakistan that are holding down their traditions, but bringing them all together is kind of reviving that feeling.
Of course, I mean, just to name some of the folks who will be participating at the festival, and of course, there's quite a significant Malaysian representation. You're looking at Datuk Lat, of course, who's a famous cartoonist here in Malaysia. You can Ultimate, the hip-hop artist, Joe Flizzo, another hip-hop artist. We're talking dancers, calligraphers, and it's quite a variety showdown, I guess, so you speak. What is that Fusion Showdown, by the way?
So the very last showcase that we'll have is the Fusion Showdown. That's the time where we leave it up to the artists to collaborate. They'll come there. This is kind of like a retreat for the artists as well. They spend 3 days together, and they come up with who they're going to collaborate with. And the last showcase for 2 hours, you see all these artists collaborating together with people they've never met before.
And so fingers crossed it's just not going to be this, melange of crazy noise.
Yeah, we're trusting the artists. We've made it,
You have a lot of faith.
Yes.
All right, a marketplace of creative arts. I will be back after the news. Stay with us on BFM 89.9. Good evening, I'm Caroline O.
And I'm Ezra Zaid.
This is the Evening Edition. A marketplace of creative arts is our topic of choice this evening with our guest, Asad Jafri, is manager of the marketplace in question, Shinji Moriwaki, spoken word artist. Now, I understand during this whole, we're not saying festival, we're saying marketplace, right? When this whole marketplace comes about, because it does sound like a festival to me, there are going to be a whole bunch of other things happening, student showcases, art workshops. Tell us about that.
Sure. We want to make sure that this is interactive. It's not just you come, see someone perform, and then go home. Yeah. So there's workshops by all the artists there. Workshops on filmmaking, South Asian Kathak dance, Chinese and Arabic calligraphy, music, poetry. These are all free, open to the public. People should register just so that there's a capacity issue. We'll also have this thing called the Dream Cube, which is going to be quite interesting. It's an interactive
the Dream
installation.
Cube. Sounds a bit suspicious in
It
some
does.
capacity. Well, what is it?
I can't give it away too much. It's supposed to be a surprise, but let's just say there's an artist who goes by Aerosol Arabic, and he's from the UK, and he's actually building it. And it's a conceptual piece, but let's just say you'll be able to walk inside the Dream Cube and experience it.
Yeah, is that what you were hoping for, Ezra?
Well, sure. I mean, I'll take that.
Very nice.
And of course, with regards to this, these workshops, in previous years, has the participation, from the audience been quite good, or are they more trying to learn something new? Or are they more familiar with it actually?
It's been pretty good, but we're expanding them this time because in the past it's been more dialogue sessions. We'll still have a dialogue session with Datuk Lat and some of the other artists. But this time we're doing more instructional workshops because we realize people are really yearning for that and just the basics. So we're focusing on workshops and master classes.
When you say people are really yearning for it, is that feedback that you got from previous marketplace?
Yeah, especially from young people. When we did just a little workshop on dance, for example, there was a lot of participation, and it seemed that people really wanted to engage more.
And so I guess even for the workshops and master classes, everything is free.
Every single thing is free. We
we like the free stuff.
We do.
I'm just saying. I just wanted to clarify. I know the whole marketplace and festival thing is free, but I mean the workshops. I mean, I know a lot of young folks who, as you said, they just need that little bit more, information, that little bit more knowledge that actually just changes their whole approach and that makes them into what they potentially can be.
Exactly.
Right. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave us with? Perhaps the highlights of the marketplace.
Well, I should say, talking about young people, there's a chance for students to actually perform at the marketplace. It's not too late, and we're going to pick 3 of the top submissions. You can go to our website to look at the rules, but basically we're looking for videos from performing artists, and we'll select the top 3. They can be from anywhere, and the rules are online.
Cool. Right, and just to repeat that, of course, we're talking about the 5th Marketplace of Creative Arts. The theme is Reviving Traditions, 5th and 6th December 2012 in Johor Bahru. And the website is
www.athwief.org/marketplace. That's a long website.
Do we have a Facebook place that people are going to refer to as well, potentially?
Yes, there's an event on Facebook. Just type in 5th Marketplace and it should come up.
Okay, so we've done the whole plug thing, but of course now we're going to get a little bit for performance from Shinji, and we'll try to see a little bit of that spoken word hip hop magic.
Yeah, right. That's coming right at you after this. Stay with us on BFM 89.9. BFM 89.9, the business station. Caroline and Ezra with you here on the evening edition, a marketplace of creative arts, our topic this evening.
That's right. And of course, just to give you a sneak preview as to the type of stuff that can, the type of stuff that's going to happen at the 5th Marketplace of Creative Arts. Shinji, you have a little performance for us. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah, just picking up on what I said before about there's that element of fear in terms of being thrown into the ring with another musician, and we're about to do that today. I just met Azrin 2 days ago, and you describe your technique of guitar playing as slap
tapping.
It's really unique. I think what the listeners need to know is that whatever sounds you hear, that's 100% from the acoustic guitar. There's no percussionist in the background or anything like that.
So you're the guitarist, the percussionist, all in one, rhythms and melodies, terrific stuff. Maybe we can get a little sneak preview.
Okay,
all
let's do it.
Okay,
here we go.
It's the hole in the ozone, the smoke and the fumes, the greenhouse gases and the fossil fuels, the polar ice caps, the natural disasters, the car you drive, the factories and contractors. The temperature's rising and I can hardly breathe. Animal species extinct and increase of disease. Toxic waste in the lakes and a situation we're all facing. Is this the environment for my kids to be raised in? It's the corporations, the billion-dollar contracts, and the governments worldwide who refuse to take action. The general public who don't believe change can happen. This problem is much bigger than we could ever imagine. Or at least that's what we are now being told on a day-to-day basis by the same countries who hold firm foundations in third world nations, draining the resources for the maximization of profits. No stopping it as long as they pay the local workforce a minimum wage. Present day slave labor favors capitalism, and the fact is this practice by definition is just another word for colonialism. But this time the slave ships and imperialism have been replaced with the dominant economic system, putting the developing world in a submissive position. Decisions are made and politicians are paid for the permission of those slaves.
There you go.
Yeah, for that and a whole lot more. It's the Marketplace of Creative Arts, once again, happening on the 5th and 6th of December at Putri Pacific Hotel, Johor Bahru. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And we're wrapping up the evening edition, BFM 89.9.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. To find more great interviews, go to bfm.my or find us on iTunes. BFM 89.9, the business station.